It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio.
I'm looking at social media the other day, and somebody had posted about budget meals, like cheap meals, looking for some ideas. And it just came flooding back. All the meals that my mom would make stretch. She had one that was goulash, and it was kind of anything that she found sort of in the pantry. So she would put noodles in, there'd be some ground beef, maybe a potato, some tomato, just kind of. And then she had another one called Shipwreck, which was kind of the same thing. And I think they went back and forth. I think Shipwreck was potatoes and goulash was noodles.
I like the names
right, Shipwreck.
For these. Yeah.
I know, but it was basically the same meal. And it was just, look, we're at the end of the month, or we're in the middle of the month, but we're at the end of the budget, so let's find what we can make.
And she did it.
You
should hear what Ninja's grandmother did. What was it?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I was loved it when my grandma gave us hash over rice. And so I don't even know how to explain it other than like mashed meat, but
mashed meat.
It's so
on top
good.
Of rice, like white rice? What kind of rice?
White rice, always. White rice. And you douse it in butter and salt.
It sounds good.
I'm
sorry,
you.
that sounds good.
Okay,
that's the stuff they're going to have in heaven.
Hash over rice in heaven.
And Grandma's serving it.
Yeah, and Scott's grandma, what does she do?
Oh, this is one of my favorite comfort foods. She would make chipped beef and gravy and put it over toast.
What's chipped beef?
It's like roast beef, maybe sort of like that. And I think it comes in a jar, if I'm not mistaken. You just chop it up and then you mix it with the gravy and put it over.
Gravy and what else?
And she said, she used chipped beef, but she sometimes would take other meats and just mix it with gravy and put it over toast.
My mama did that with ground beef and called it hamburger gravy, and you put it over. We always had a choice. It was either toast or mashed potatoes. And then you put some like LaSour baby peas in that bad boy. Yes,
I always
Mama.
had sandwich. Have you ever had the sandwich?
What
I don't
is
know
a
if you had the sandwich.
Sandwich?
Ninja sandwich. Have you ever sandwich? Anybody?
Like a sloppy Joe?
Like where you wish you had a sandwich?
Yeah, it's 2 pieces of bread. You wish you had some meat.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
The things you grew up with when it came to the budget cheap meals. Brings back the memories. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio.
I have never heard of this. Marcy just texted 800-447-7234 and said her mom made Western Kraft mac and cheese, peas, beef, barbecue sauce.
All
Never heard
mashed together?
All in the same thing. So
Really?
Yeah. I put peas in my mashed potatoes because that's the way we had it. Like if you have pot roast or something like that. So all that's together. So this is just down the same road.
I try not to have a big intake of carbs, although I'm being a failure at it lately. But when it comes to spaghetti, I will not have a lot of noodles. I'll fill it more with peas.
In your spaghetti?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. It's amazing. It's my own concoction. I don't know anything. Like Scott, it's Chippewa what? What was it called? Your grandma made?
Beef and gravy.
Chip beef and gravy.
Yeah. Yeah. The chip beef is like you chop it up. And I mean, it's yummy. I don't know. It's a weird
What's it come
gravy.
in?
Like a jar.
It's in a jar.
Yeah. And I'm positive, almost positive, that it's dried beef, like dehydrated or something.
Okay. Well, Pat's here at
It's a
800.
little salty.
Pat's here at 800-447-7234. What'd you say about it, Pat?
My mom used to make that. Liz was right. It's in a jar. The meat is like really soggy. It's like a dried beef strip or slices of meat. And she would either tear it into strips or cut it into strips and brown it in the pan. And then make gravy like with flour and milk. And you didn't have to add salt because the meat was salty enough. And then it was really like a creamy, milky gravy with that beef in it, and you would put it on toast.
That just sounds so fancy to me. I don't know why.
It wasn't, but it was really yummy. And it was a childhood staple. Like you said, it was one of those inexpensive meals that you could do when things are tight.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
I had no idea. Well, it's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio. Started talking about those budget meals that you have to put together because you're just surviving, right? And so Scott was mentioning coming home one day And your grandmother had what in the sink?
A pig's head, eyes open, staring up at me. I came home, from school, threw my backpack down, ready to get a snack for the day, and had to do a double take. And there is this pig's head looking at me.
What was she doing with it, Scott?
Yeah, this is about meal.
All right. So she would take the brains.
Well, we did. Oh, you're getting too graphic. What?
Look,
What?
they serve that. They sell that stuff in a can at the grocery store. That's not graphic. That
What's
is
that
just
called?
I think it's souse. Is that right?
Souse. Yeah, souse meat is
And then
what I remember.
Your
I don't know. I'm getting faint just
I'm
thinking
glad I
about
didn't have breakfast.
I know.
Wow, they call that
Few things-
souse.
There were a few things I did not eat that she made, and that was one of them. Yeah.
Good for
Very-
you.
ugh.
Good
But
on
it was
you.
about surviving.
Still gives me the creeps.
Yeah. My dad used to eat chicken legs that they served up. Come on now. All right.
Everybody eats chicken legs.
No, I'm like, oh, sorry, feet, not legs, feet, chicken
Okay.
feet. Okay, that's just gross.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
guess.
Kristen texted and said, "Here's what my mom would do to stretch the budget. She would take any leftover beef, chicken, whatever, vegetables, and put it in Ziploc bags. Put
Okay.
it in the freezer.
Smart.
At the end of the month, she would have something called refrigerator soup." Because she had just put it all together. I lived that. We grew up with things like that, and I still do it today.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, Molly's here at 800-447-7234. What about you, Molly?
It's called sandwiches in foil. It is bologna and cheese. You put that in a meat grinder, and then you mix mayonnaise, mustard, and pickle relish all together, and you wrap it in foil and then bake it until it all melts together.
How does it turn out?
It's all like melty, like the cheese is melty inside.
You go ahead and put it on the buns inside the foil, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're containing it rather than it leaking out all over the oven.
Okay, and it's called what again? Something soil.
Sandwiches in foil.
Oh, foil.
Like aluminum
Okay.
foil.
I was thinking the garden variety.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
So Brianna is a mama of two. She's got a husband. She's got a job. She's trying to, make ends meet. She's doing the whole thing. She's working hard. So every day, of course, she goes home. She prepares a meal for her family. And more often than not, according to her social media, her husband's really picky and just doesn't like it. And so she takes this one day and she makes a video about my husband did not like what I made him for dinner. She had made salmon and I guess some vegetables, and he just was not having it. And so she's like, okay, so here I am. Let's go make him some nachos. He's laying on the couch during the whole thing, by the way, and she's making the cheese and doing the ground beef. I mean, she had to make a whole other meal. And I don't like this. And a lot of other people are like, girl, you're not a short order cook. I tell my family this. I don't like
You
it.
saw this on what?
I think it was TikTok. I don't know.
You know how
Social.
much of that's staged?
I understand that, but it released an inner thing in me.
Don't take it personal.
I couldn't help it.
Those
because
things are staged.
I have said these things to my family when they don't like what I've made. And I say, I'm not a short order cook. I'm not here to just sling the hash.
Yeah,
man.
but the thing that you didn't like was that the guy's laying down with a blanket on him, right?
Well, and that she had to make a whole other meal after she had, really put her heart into this salmon and vegetables, trying to help you
Some
be
people
healthy.
are picky eaters. I get that.
I understand that. And she probably does know he's going to be picky, but at the same time, she worked hard. Mm-hmm. Come on, eat it.
I'm sure he would. And he does. This is a Facebook thing. Come on. These things are staged for the most part. For the sake of getting a like or a dislike or a bunch of billions of views.
Well, they didn't get either one. Well, they did get a view from me. But
Yes, they did.
But I didn't like it
Well,
or
look at
dislike
how you're
it.
reacting to it.
Well, yeah, like my whole being.
Ninja will tell you a lot of this stuff is not real.
Yeah, it's really hard to imagine them being married for that long. Like, she didn't know that he didn't like that.
I've been married for a while, and I still try. There's certain things that I still want to try to get my, family to eat. Even though I know probably they're not going to, I do get my feelings hurt. I will say that. I'll be transparent. I get my feelings hurt sometimes. Because if I make something and I'm like, oh, they're going to love this.
And then they don't love it?
And then they're like, it's all right. It's all right. You didn't have to prepare it.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
They call themselves, this whole partnership, Welcome Home. And what they've done is that they're using some of the old church parsonages. How do you say
Parsonages.
that? Thank you.
There
I don't
you
know
go.
why I can't say that word. And office buildings and youth clubhouses and single-family homes that some of these churches own. And so they flipped them. They made them very livable. And for I think it's $10 a month just for utilities, that there are families that are able to stay there for 90 days as they're getting into the country and getting their feet on the ground so that they can start to make a life of it here.
How awesome is that, though, that $10 a month to be able to, make that start. And it could be those that are, fleeing from the war in Ukraine. It could be coming in from Mexico, wherever it is, and they're trying to start a new life.
So there's dozens of families that they're helping out right now. I said $10 a month. It's $10 a day.
Oh, okay, but that's
still good. Still
right?
really good.
Yeah.
Still very, very good. It's a great initiative that's happening. 10 churches in the Raleigh-Durham area are taking care of this right now. There's some others that are across the country, especially on this side of the states, that are helping out in a real way like that.
And I like welcome home, because that's exactly what they're looking for, a new, fresh start in a country that they aspire to be a part of.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Luke, Abigail, Julia, and Rachel, they have been through thick and thin together. I mean, they have been together for a long, long time through school. They went to college together, which is super cool that they all went to college together, but they're getting ready to graduate in about a week and a half. May 12th is when they're going to be graduating from Metropolitan State University, all going into different fields. So Luke is the only one of the four that is not going directly into the workforce. He's kind of going rogue. He's going to take the summer off, go to summer camp. Did I mention they're quadruplets? They're quadruplets.
Oh, they're brother and sisters.
Yes.
Born at the same time.
Born at the same time.
No wonder why they went to grade school and high school together.
Right. But they have been super close, like best friends. They've all been best friends this entire time. And I love how they're all graduating together. I mean, they're so close. They wanted to go to college together.
That's the thought.
College.
I'm thinking, wow, they didn't disperse. They all went to the same place.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times siblings want to break free, not just from mom and dad, but they want to break free from each other and kind of be their own person, stand on their own, not under anybody else's shadow. It's not the case for them. Like, they wanted to go together. And so now they're starting to disperse. But here's what I love about it. They have given all the credit to their parents and to God. They said, we give all glory to God first and foremost, and then our parents. They were our biggest supporters because they let us live at home, save some money while they were going to college, so they didn't move into a dorm and have to do that whole thing.
They recognized this.
Yes.
Wow.
And they said, and now we finally get to spread our wings and break free. And it wasn't because mom and dad had them under their thumb, up until this age. It was because they allowed them to be there and not pay rent and not do any of those things. So good on you.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
I am all about saving money, so I'm not hating on this at all. Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio.
Well, apartments are expensive.
Oh, my goodness.
Especially in big cities. London, for instance, it is outrageous to live in an apartment. And when you're under 30, like 28 years old, that's hard. Unless you got like 20 roommates.
Or you have a trust fund. That
Something,
could help.
Right? So here's Harrison. He's 28 years old. He says, I can't even live. I can't live. So he looked at a dumpster and he's like, I can live in that dumpster.
Oh.
I know. It does.
Yeah.
He flipped it.
He did what?
He flipped a dumpster.
Like, was he angry and he just picked it up?
Not like a tire and CrossFit. No, like a home. So literally, he had $5,000 and he invested $5,000 into putting some walls up, a roof over it. It's and it's good night. It's like $4,600 he spent on this. I'm trying to think of the square footage because it is really tiny.
Yeah.
This is tinier than a tiny home.
Is it about the size of a hotel room, maybe?
No, not
even that
really.
big?
No, because there's no bathroom or anything like that.
There's no bathroom.
So here he's got a portalette, he's got a porta-john on the outside.
Maybe rents that monthly or something.
It's $62 a month for him to live on the property where he lives in this flipped dumpster. And he spends like $60 a month for internet so he can stream some shows on Netflix and do Zoom calls for his work. And he goes to a laundromat.
Makes sense.
And there's a gym close by that he goes to every day. That's where his showers are.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, this kid is smart. Now, I have to back up. He spends $60 on his internet. Same price for basically his rent on the property.
Yeah.
Okay, that's...
Yeah. So here's what he did. $4,600 for the flip. That's all the timber, all the wood, all the stuff that he used. And about $380 for storage and a foam mattress.
It's not bad.
That's it.
He found a way to live, and if he's happy with it, go get it.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
I don't know if you've seen this. It's kind of a silly thing. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning on his radio. It's like, I guess you would call this a live stream. And it's a very fuzzy looking, like you're in water.
It's murky.
Yeah, real murky. And then evidently at some point you see some fish in the background. When you see it, you're supposed to hit a doorbell, and then it opens things up and you see fish.
It's kind of nasty.
Yeah.
It's like looking in a dirty fish bowl.
Scott said he was mesmerized by all of this.
Yeah, a little creepy because it is very murky, almost like one of those deep sea, mystery dives you see on TV. It's just very, very cloudy.
It's normal for me because I'm from Tampa Bay, Florida, and the water on the Gulf, at least off of Tampa Bay, is like this. And so this is normal for me. It's just like, it doesn't creep me out or anything.
It's odd. Like, I love to watch when the baby giraffes are getting ready to be born, or the eaglets, are in the nest and you're waiting for. I love watching that kind of thing. This doesn't have the same draw for me.
But wait, aren't you supposed to hit like a button or something like that when you see a fish?
Because there's like a gate, and the gatekeeper is supposed to open the gate for the fish to swim through it when you hit the doorbell.
Here's what concerns me about this. Can I just be honest?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I saw it and I looked at it and I went, I'm not touching that. I don't want some malware in my computer.
I hate that part of it, that we're so accustomed to being scammed that it's
I am
too.
I've been burnt too many times.
Right, you send me a video, I'm like, hey, texting you, did you send this to
I
me?
literally do that. Yeah. If somebody emails me a link, even if it's Scott, I'm like texting going, hey, dude, did you send me a link?
Yeah, because somebody could clone his email or his Facebook or, whatever, and then you're in, a world of hurt. So
there's no way I open up any links anymore.
And I thought the same thing. You're talking about the button? I didn't hit the button either because I was so afraid that it might, you've been spammed. Here comes another malware. Or something.
And if you're doing this at your job, which you shouldn't be, but if you're doing this at your job and then you hit that button, then the whole company
network goes
down, right?
That is not good.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
Not everybody had the best cafeteria like Scott's was when he was in elementary school.
I had a great one because the cafeteria was full of grandmas, and grandmas know how to cook. And actually, my grandmother used to be one of the cooks in the elementary cafeteria.
Oh, come on.
Scooter got some extra on his little tray.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And at home. I ate well. Let's just put it that way.
That. Very, very. He does not look like he ate well. When you hear somebody say, I ate well or I eat well, I'm a reflection of that. No. Scott's a skinny guy.
Yeah.
I'm not as skinny as you say.
No. You're size 32. Come on. I'm not as skinny as they say. Come on.
Maybe 34.
Here's somebody who has to deal with burnt macaroni and cheese.
This poor kid. He's 9 years old. His name's Killian. And you know what? He got to a point in his young age, he was fed up with it. He was done. He was over it. And so he put together an essay and took it to the school board.
Isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm. Well, right to the school board. And he pleaded his case.
Yes, and he did it so well. He said, I will pack a lunch when I see on that menu macaroni and cheese is coming up. He said it's burnt, it's crunchy, like the noodles are crunchy. It's a bad mix. The ratio of cheese and noodles is off. He was like, it's terrible.
So he gave it his chance. After that whole plea in front of the educational board, Killian, the next day, when there was macaroni and cheese, he gave it a chance. And it was good.
He even went on to say, and this is a strong word, perfect. Mm-hmm. Perfect. It was hot.
Perfect.
It was creamy. The noodles were exactly the way they should
He
be.
stood his ground.
You know what? When you got a problem, take it to the people who can change it.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
Someone asked the question, are you really sending people to where mouse are running around in Orlando? No, it's the other place, Universal Studios.
Yeah, it is.
The best summer ever. Going to send your family there because you could win that with his radio in the best summer ever. It's Rob and Liz in the morning.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. Just think, it's been a hot minute since our family has gone to Orlando. So to have this, or maybe you've never gone before and you want to go to Orlando and do all the rides and all the shows and all the things at Universal. A travel agent's even going to put that together for you.
For you. Yeah. Yes, for free when you win it from the best summer ever. And let me tell you, there's some big plans going on all summer long for you and your family with ball games, faith and family nights, the free concerts that are going on, family days that are happening. I mean, it's huge. And winning a lot of different theme park tickets. And the grand prize happens to be a whole weekend type trip to Orlando for Universal Studios.
Yeah, you can't say you're doing the best summer ever unless it is, in fact, the best summer ever.
So here's what you need to do right now so that you can win this. Get registered and text the word summer, and we'll send you a link directly. The word is summer, 800-447-7234, 800-447-7234, and you could be winning the best summer ever.